Hello, everyone. Back again with Survivor South Africa, season 9. So I decided to do episode 23 and 24 because 23 was just like one competition, and 24 is pretty much just a long interrogation where the winner is announced at the end. So in episode 23, uh, they they brought in their loved ones. Dino had his fiance. Um, she was pretty, but also pale, like ghost white, pale, like no blood flow, pale. Um, Marion had her mom. Um, yeah, and she cried. She cried like Marion usually cries, and ugly cried. I don't. I don't know. I'm trying to remember if there was ever an episode where she didn't cry. There's probably a couple, but not many. And then we had Shane, who his friend showed up, some random guy uh, that he knows. It was rather sad. It looked like he was disappointed, but so things goes. So the competition they had to do was endurance competition, obviously. And basically what happened was they got waterboarded. Like they're literally hanging on a board, holding on to the handles of like the metal handle attached to ropes, and they were just hanging on the board as the board was tilted, and water was like literally just dripping on them, and then the board would slowly get tilted more and more, making it harder and harder for them to hold on. Obviously, there was no tension in this for me. I already knew who was going to win. I would have been shocked if who I thought was going to win didn't win, because this competition pretty much relied on upper body strength, which means Marion can't win. And Shane can't win because Shane is the heaviest guy, and Marion is obviously female. So, surprise, surprise, Dino wins. Dino wins the final competition. I'm trying to think now if I don't think Phil would have been able to beat him either. So I think Dino would have won regardless of how the situation went. Unless they eliminated Dino, he was going to win that. So that is how the cookie crumbles. Dino wins. He was the winner of that competition. And he gets to choose, obviously, who he's going to take with him. He was talking to his fiance, and he was basically explaining to her how he made a deal with Marion that they were going to take each other to the end. And she pretty much advised him that he has to do what he has to do for them to win, And when she heard, which I guess she didn't really know about what the prize money was going to be, when he told her it's going to be 2 million rand, immediately she was just like, eyes all big, and she's like, I'm getting half of that if I divorce you. So you're gonna have to get that money. You know what I mean? So yeah, so she was definitely all about that cash. So she advised him to take the best option in order to win. They go back to tribe, and right away, Marion had a feeling, and she knew that Dino was going to choose to take Shane with him to the end because he knows he can beat Shane. So she started crying, as she does. Did I mention she cries a lot? She cries a lot, and it's the ugliest of cries. So she starts crying. Shane decided he's not going to campaign. He's not going to say a bad word against Marion or anything like that. So he just kind of walked off, and he just kind of relaxed. And Dino came back from crying about, what he has to do, and he goes to talk to Marion, all eyes all red, and her eyes is all red because she was crying, as she always does. And he kind of told her, he didn't say it directly, but on certain words, he kind of hinted at the fact that he's not going to be able to take her to the end with him. And she cried. She cried. And then after that, they go to tribal to kind of make the decision who Dino is going to choose to take with him. And Marion kind of pitched her case, and she kind of told the jury that Dino already said he's going to choose Shane, and she feels like Shane doesn't deserve to be here, and it was that her and Dino made this promise, and he's going back on his word, and he should believe in his game, and if he should believe in his game, and he should take her with him if he believes he's played the best game or whatever the hell. It's just an appeal to emotion, basically. And the crazy thing was, immediately you would have known that no one was going to take Marion to the end, because even in the last episode 22, she pretty much pitched to the jury about how good she is at this game and why her skin condition shouldn't matter. So she already pitched to the jury why she's good. She pretty much set up for her to be voted out. Anyways, so she cried, and then Dino had to vote, and he had to vote, and he had to literally go behind the booth to vote anonymously, which made no sense. He was the only one voting. They could have just said, make your decision and be done with it, but they had him go through the whole thing of writing a name on a parchment, and it was stupid. But he voted off Marion, and Marion is gone to the jury, and now it's Shane versus Dino. And then they had to get interviewed by the jury. And most of the jury members just kind of talked for way too long, and they talked about themselves way too much. And the interrogation pretty much was just like, they ask a question, and Shane would talk about how he's grown as a person and all his emotions. He'd talk about how his entire family was a conspiracy theorist, and none of them got the vaccine, so they couldn't be there for him. And the friend that showed up for him, turns out, left a nasty voicemail when he left to go play the game, and just kind of talking crap about him the whole time. And he was already at a low point in his life, and it was a lot of sad stuff, man. And he wanted to play the game differently, where he didn't want to backstab people and all this stuff. I don't know. I guess Shane wanted a redemption or some nonsense like that. So he pretty much does that all the time, how he grew and how he loved these people and all this stuff, appealing to the jury's emotions. Whereas Dino revealed the idol that was hidden at tribal council that he never used because he never felt that he needed it. And he kind of just walked up by the fire pit, and he revealed to them that this idol was hidden there this whole time, and I never used it. And then he goes back to talking about how he's gained confidence through the game and all this stuff. And then I think Steffi had the greatest point, where she was just like, she's tired of him acting all meek and weak all the time. And I was just like, yeah, Dino is kind of a pussy. He's like, he always making himself small, and his shoulders always hunched up like that. And it's just weird for a grown ass man to be acting like that, like a scared child that is afraid that a bully was going to come and take his lunch money at any moment. And so that was a good point that she had. But in the end, it was time to vote, and they voted, and they read the votes right after. And I think it was like 2 votes for Shane, but most of the votes were for Dino, obviously. And Dino won Survivor South Africa season 9. And I think it was a good choice. Out of the other choices, out of the 2 choices, it was the best choice. But I think ultimately the best player for the season, I think, would be Steffi. Steffi's game definitely evolved this season. And before, when she played, she was mostly physical, and her social game was kind of bad, and she got betrayed, and she was all ego. In this one, she was still mostly ego, but she diversified her game. Her social game was on point. she was throwing a lot of challenges as well. She was very strategic. Yeah, I would think, and she had an idol. She went out with an idol. That's the unfortunate part. But I think overall for this season, she was the best, in my opinion. But she didn't make it to the end. So Dino, it is. So till next time.